What is the antidote to death? Living a life free from fear. Here's a quote from Tolstoy. We should get ready for death because it will come sooner or later. The best thing to do is to live a good life. If you live a good life, you should not be afraid of death. The right path in life is very narrow, but it is important to find. You can understand it as well as we can understand it as a walkway of wood built across a swamp. If you step off it, you will plunge into the swamp of misunderstanding and evil. A wise man returns to the true path at once, but a weak man plunges further and further into the swamp, and it becomes more and more difficult for him to get out. The right path is truth. It is narrow. It is easily stepped off of. It's easy to falter on that path and then onto another path. Maybe a wrong path, maybe a path in the wrong direction, or an evil direction, or a direction of misunderstanding. All you have to do is step back on the path. It's hard. It takes effort. It takes time. You have to keep doing it. The path of truth is never ending. It's from now until the day you die. And as you verge off and on to that path in various ways, the sum culmination of your life, how meaningful it was, how happy you were with it, is going to be determined by how much you stay on that path. Constant course correction. Just like the airplane. They say that an airplane is off course 99% of the time, which means it's always adjusting, constantly adjusting. That's what life is like. It's also why some people get kind of tired or maybe even exhausted, because they're constantly course correcting. Now, I believe that you have a wellspring, a fusion reactor of energy. If you've connected what you want to do in life to something that fills you up, that gives you energy, that has meaning, that has purpose, that you enjoy, your infinite game, the game that you want to keep playing forever. People that get exhausted in life is they're playing games they don't want to play. They're playing small games, finite games, games of scarcity, games of fear. If only I just do this long enough and then it'll finally get better, or this will go away, or that will, whatever. Games of delusion. They're playing games with the wrong set of rules, deluding themselves, lying to themselves. This is the average modern human. The world is designed to distract all of us and then monetize us, just like the Matrix. It's the absolute perfect metaphor for the average sleepwalking zombie that's alive today in modern culture. With the state and the corporations that work together to keep you voting a certain way, spending a certain way, and not really causing a ruckus, not becoming too revolutionary in your thinking. That is the modern world. But human flourishing comes from freedom of expression, freedom of being who you are, regardless of what the people around you say, or what the state says, or what's acceptable or not acceptable in your culture, in your community, your society, and your social group. Human flourishing, in most cases, challenges all of those assumptions, all of that analogy, butts up against it, and in some cases has to tear it down completely. As Nietzsche identified a long time ago with this overman concept, you must destroy all the morals around you. You must destroy all the values that have been placed upon you by society, by your upbringing. You must become born again like the child, and then build meaning from the ground up, from a place of ignorance, of play. Basically the hero's journey. We all kind of go through life. We pursue a path of what we think we want. And there's a lot of hard things in the way to get where we really want to go. We have to overcome some major obstacle. We have to really, really want something. We have to overcome something hard to get it. And then when we get it, that's the end of the movie. Happily ever after, fairy tale, whatever. That's the hero's journey. The standard Hollywood archetype. You see it in literally every book, every movie. It's built into our species. It's something that's identified deep, deep rooted into Homo sapiens sapiens, which is why most of pop culture and stories that appeal to the masses always use this in some way. The overman concept is just like that for the individual. You're born believing things you're told, you're indoctrinated, you're schooled, you're educated, quote unquote. And then you come into your own, you start thinking for yourself, you start shedding that skin, you start shedding those burdens. And then hopefully you don't find a new set of dogmas and biases and perceptions to fall into in middle age and older, as many people do. Hopefully you finally start thinking for yourself. You finally cast it all off and say, you know what? I'm going to do it my way. Nothing that came before is inherently valuable unless I analyze it, find the value there, adopt it as my own because it's been vetted, it's been stress tested. Then I build a worldview with various values that way. The antidote to death is life. Live now, live free. Build a life for yourself from your own understanding, your own experimentation, your own exploration, your own living. Get the Better Human newsletter over at thebetterhuman.co.